Hello, good morning, and welcome back to another Out of Spec Reviews video. Today, we are going for a drive for the first time in the 4 Series Gran Coupe. And this just isn't any normal 4 Series Gran Coupe. This is the M440i X-Drive. Now, we can argue about the M name being in there, but what we can't argue about is that this is the spiciest 4 Series Gran Coupe you can buy. I'm excited to see some of the work that BMW engineers have done to this car, and then we're going to go, of course, and take it up my favorite canyon road and see how it performs on a nice, chilly morning blast. This is the new 2022 BMW 440i Gran Coupe. I'm lucky enough to be one of the first people to have one for review, and I have to say the spec on this car is just amazing. The car, well, it only has about 600 miles on it, technically still in break-in period, but it's a media car. They put the 500 miles on it before they dropped it off to my house, and they said you're okay to shred it. So that's exactly what we will do up this road. Freshy fresh car though. We're on, I believe, Pirelli summer tires on this particular one. It has the M Sport brakes. Inline 6-cylinder engine. Let me show you that. You can see the car's unlocking and locking as I get closer and farther away. That is just a feature I've turned on from sort of key proximity. What I'll do is leave the key right here. By the way, because it's an M Sport model, it has the M stripes there. Is it a true M car? No, I think everyone will agree with that, but it's certainly pretty spicy. So they have this whole, it's been this way for the last 10 years now. We've had M performance models rather than full M motorsport models. Anyway, inline 6, B58 engine, 48 volt mild hybrid stuff. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about how the mild hybrid system interacts with the engine. It does some really magical things to make this drive very electric-like, actually, which is probably the highest compliment you could ever give to a combustion engine, is its smoothness and its ability to have power pretty much anywhere in the rev range. About 380 horsepower, about 400 pound-feet of torque. Similar engine that we've tested many times on this channel across many cars, I think most recently in the Supra 6-cylinder. However, that car did not have the 48 volt systems paired. This green is stunning, isn't it? So, you know, the styling on this car, to me, looks awesome. I took it through Starbucks the other day, big surprise, and the entire staff was like, whoa, this car in this color combination looks so good. And I think we're finally starting to see people get used to the grille up front. I'll talk about that here in a second. You have 12 volt power outlet back here, huge trunk space, nothing under floor, easily accessible is what it looks like. Seats can fold down, this parcel shelf can come out. Again, this isn't a full review of the car. I've only actually spent a few hours with it so far. And yeah, I've just been traveling, so I don't have too much time with it. You can see it's a little bit small in the back seat. That's my seating position, so I could probably fit. Let's try the headroom, actually. Let's jump in there. Let's see how it feels. Man, I love this green. I can't get over it. So, jumping in the back here. Woo, camera angles going everywhere. First off, beautiful dashboard. Seats are this, I think, Vernesca leather. It's like one down from the really nice leather. You can see it still has a grain to it. A little bit of a firm leather. New interior for 4 Series Gran Coupe. This is the 2nd generation of 4 Series GC. Let me switch the camera around. Whoa! And you can see no headroom for me. Like, I have to do a crouch down situation. So that's maybe not the best. We have a center console here. That's nice. But 3 Series sedan, I think, had more rear seat headroom than this. We have some climate control functionality back here with no rear heated seats, it seems. That's okay. Let's go through the spec on this car too before I forget to show you. I believe I have that in the glove box. You guys know my videos, it's sort of a one take-ish. You just joined me for a drive. By the way, manual seats. I don't know why that has manual seats in this car. I didn't even know that would be available. This is such a highly spec'd car. Personally, I love it. I prefer manual seats, so you don't see me complaining. I just think, wouldn't that be a standard feature? Anyway, here we go. This particular one is $67,520. Well, that seems pretty reasonable for how spicy and fast this is. 70 grand for an M440i. feel like, yeah, maybe that's just right on par. It feels pretty good. San Remo green. I was just in San Remo. This is a great color. It has driver assistance pack, parking assistant, premium pack, cooling and high performance tire pack. What else does it have? Sensatech dashboard. Okay. And carbon sound, but no power seats. Have a whole bunch of controls down here. We've reviewed new BMWs in depth with this iDrive system, the technology in this car, the driver assistance system in this car. Head over to our 3 Series plug-in hybrid review almost a year ago. I went crazy in depth on all this stuff. Nothing's really changed. Small things here and there, but nothing major. So we get the startup noises. Everything's good. I have kind of the car I want set up. We're going to drive it in comfort mode. We'll get the cameras in. And then, of course, we're going to shred it up into the mountains. You join me now inside of the 4 Series Gran Coupe. And one thing I want to do before we even move is just talk about this mild hybrid system. Right now, the engine's off. It's in auto start stop operation. Make sure no one's coming. Listen to this. It just is on. It's just amazing. And this is not the first system like this we've experienced on this channel. We've driven this exact engine with mild hybrid system in the 540i. We did a full in-depth review on that car. This isn't going to be as in-depth, but I'm more concerned about the performance-y stuff with this car. But we also drove the Mercedes E450 mild hybrid, and these pancake motor systems are magical. I feel like a lot of people who recently have transitioned to an electric car haven't experienced this new, like, last 3 years of technology in combustion vehicles, because in my experience, it's extremely transformative to the driving and ownership experience of a vehicle. Just the ability that if I put the car in Eco Pro, for example, right now, and I lift off, it's just coasting. The engine's off. We're just rolling, no noise. And then I just roll into the throttle. The engine's on, like it never even was off in the first place. Right now I have a screen up here called Energy Flow. It shows that our high voltage, medium voltage 48 volt battery pack is dead. So I'm gonna put the car in sport mode to kind of charge it up a little bit. There's 3 different levels of sport mode. There's standard, plus, and individual. We're gonna start in standard and then we'll move it up to plus. I've set individual so that suspension and steering are in comfort mode, but then the engine and transmission are in Sport Plus. That's how I prefer to drive the car. Perhaps we'll get up there when we, drive it. I haven't driven it on twisty road yet. So a couple things to keep in mind here. We have summer performance tires on this car, the Pirellis, which is $2,400 option for these 19-inch wheels with the summer tires, and then the M software. I don't really think it maybe does anything. Maybe raises the top speed a little bit and then gives you like the M lap timer in here. I don't know. It seems like a lot of money. But BMW has never been known for maybe their I don't know, their cheap options, if you will. So let's do a quick launch down the straightaway here, see how this thing gets off the lines. Rated 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. I think it feels faster than that. So we're gonna go sport mode on, dynamic traction control activated. I'm gonna move the shifter into S mode. If you guys don't know, I used to work for BMW, so this is all nice and comfortable for me. Left foot to the floor, flooring it with the right, launch control active, building boost. Oh, slams the shifts. That is faster than 4.4. This is altitude too. Look at this thing. Oh, screams and runs. Wow, that's strong performance. It's amazing the totally different type of character that this engine has, just based off of the shifting characteristics, the exhaust noise, compared with the 540i and even the Supra that had a similar or almost the same engine, if you will. Now we're starting to get some pops and crackles out of the back. I couldn't get it to pop and crackle earlier, and now it's doing it. So let's put it in manual shifting mode. We have it in normal sport, not sport plus. Let's just get used to it. Look, it's popping and crackling out the back. Nice. Oh, the noise. They've really done a good job retaining that unbelievable B58 inline 6-cylinder mid-range grunt up top. Oh, it still pulls hard. I don't know if it would run into the rev limiter I've shifted, because like this thing's just revving to the moon. Wow. All right, well, enough fooling around in basic sport mode. Everything here feels pretty good. Let me talk just really quick. Steering wheel, too thick, not into it. Sport Plus. Now we have the extra dynamic setting. In this particular mode, and we've already charged up the high voltage battery now. In this particular mode, it's going to use the 11 horsepower bump, but also like 100 pound-feet of torque bump from the Pancake electric motor to work together with the engine. Yeah, so it's called e-boost. There's also a neat little trick that when you're driving in comfort mode, I think, let me just try this. Comfort mode, traction, everything's normal. I read this in the materials this morning, which I've never heard of BMW doing. It's called sprint functionality. If I just pull the left paddle for more than 1 second, 1 Mississippi, and go. Yeah, it says sprint and e-boost. Oh, that's cool. And that just gives you everything. And then we're back to normal driving, I guess. Shows manual mode. Now we're back to comfort. Oh, I love that feature. So if you're just cruising in traffic, you want to pass someone, hold the left paddle, sprint activates, e-boost on, and you're ready to go. I'm going to go back to Sport Plus manual. We're going to back traction control off 1 notch. Is the Subaru going to pull for us? Yes, they will. Thank you very much for that. Hazards to say thank you. And power out of the corner mid-range. Oh, I didn't have it in manual mode. It downshifted. It's like, why would it downshift there? Because I had it in S instead of M. Now that I'm all set up, we're good. So, in the second. Wow, this ZF box. It's got an M Sport differential in the rear, which can do variable torque locking, essentially. So you have infinitely variable amounts of locking force applied to the rear axle. It's got a wet disc clutch, basically center differential. And if you remember when I had the 540i on this road, it wouldn't give me power where I wanted it, because if I had any sort of lock on the wheel or any sort of G-forces on, it essentially just cut power mid-corner, part of the X-Drive system, which I was super bummed with. Now, DSC off. Let's roll into it here. Oh, yes. Power on oversteer, baby. Oh, this differential really helps get you into a corner. That is gotta be the best X-Drive system since M240i that I've driven with limited slip diff, which was a port installed accessory. This car's crazy dynamic, like really dynamic. And that's what you want out of a BMW. I've been daily driving this car for 2 days now. And by that, I mean, I took it to Starbucks and back and like went out to dinner once because I haven't really spent too much time with it. And it goes back today. So I really should have spent more time with the car. I really wanted to spend more time with the car, but at least we can take it up this road now. Driving this car daily is so comfortable because you have this mild hybrid system that turns on and off the engine like I showed you. I actually prefer driving the car in Eco Pro mode. I love that it gives you a timer on your trip calculation of how many minutes you've run at, or you haven't run the engine when you're stopped. And so this car only has 600 miles on it. It's already saved 36 minutes of idling time. That's pretty good, actually. Coming into a great section of road here. Power in, brake pedal. Brakes are still cold. Let's get it over. Oh, the shifts are aggressive. The lateral support is good. Outside temperature 37. It's cold on summer tires. Got to be mindful. And yeah, we have to get around this E350, but wow, is this car capable. Look, I started the whole video with like, should it have an M badge? And the answer is an M3 and M4 significantly higher performance? The answer is yes. But this is really awesome for a daily driver. Most people wouldn't even be able to get up to this sort of level of capability of this car. And honestly, it's cold out, so the tires aren't working. Thanks for pulling over for us. There we go. We'll bring some power meters up on the screen. That 4,000, 5,000 RPM noise. I could listen to that all day long. Now let's wind it all the way out, see if it holds at the rev limiter. Yes, it does. Oh, the gear shifts at wide open. This thing's relentless. It is relentless. And the braking performance, now that we're starting to get a little bit of heat into them, let's just warm them up a little bit. Back to power. This e-boost is great too from this mild hybrid system. You really don't even feel it working until you look down over here. And it doesn't stay on for long. It's just to get until the turbos really come on boil and maybe a little bit after, and then it shuts off. Because I think it's probably got some sort of thermal limitation or voltage sag in the mild hybrid system that it can't just stay on all the time. I think Mercedes EQ Boost provided more boost more of the time. But this is the right size car. This car looks great in green. I'm over the grill thing. We're getting there. Yeah, it does do a little bit of torque cut, or maybe brake differential, brake torque vectoring. I don't know. Brake test. Oh, didn't go all the way down to a stop. It's still fresh brakes. I don't want to stand on them while they're still bedding in, you know, to a 0. Great braking performance. Really good pedal feel too, and a long distance I could go in the pedal before we got to ABS. So just good grip is really what that shows. Wow, this is definitely one of the most fun things I've had up here in a while. I hate the steering wheel. I don't know why this steering wheel bugs me so much. So I used to own an M3 and F80. I miss that steering wheel coming through the tight section. Car's still heavy, but it transitions very nicely. Now an M car wouldn't really have this roly-poly nature as much as this car does, full turned up. It's actually still in sprint mode, which is pretty interesting. I wonder if I go Sport Plus and I hold the left paddle, it still goes to sprint. Wow, the pops and crackles. So yeah, anytime you hold the left paddle, it stays in sprint for a little while, I guess. So Sport Standard, Sport Plus, now we're back in normal. I'm really quite pleased with this car, and BMWs have really annoyed me recently. And then I got in that 330e with all the M Performance kit and the big brakes, and I was like, holy smokes, BMW still gets it. And now here I am in the 4 Series with the great inline 6 and this amazing mild hybrid system, and I'm like, holy smokes, BMW still gets it. That gear shift, I love that noise. And the ZF box is great. The downshifts are a little bit slower than a dual clutch would be, but what can you do? This thing's got a lot of rotational mass. It's got that extra electric flywheel in there. You can just keep this thing pegged everywhere, standing on the brakes. Oh, you just stand on the throttle to tuck it in over the bump. Oh my gosh, you can hammer this thing. The noise out the back too, I'm surprised. It's the best sounding BMW I've heard in a long time, because the S54 motor that's in the, or S55 motor, excuse me, that's in the M2 CS, that's in the M3 and M4, doesn't sound as good as this. This is the better sounding car, and that to me is a big part of it. So like, I had a friend recently looking at buying an M2. I'm like, buy a pre-LCI one so it sounds good. Coming in under braking, downshift, go, thank you. Let you get right up to the rev limiter. I honestly thought there was a bigger or less of a gear separation there. That was a pretty big gap. Should have just listened to the car and rode the torque curve up. Wow. Just take it slow up here because there's always animals. I don't like to freak out the animals driving quickly, especially with a car that sounds as menacing as this. We've just hit the freezing point. No leaves left up here. No snow up here though, but they've had snow. Wow. What a great way to start the day. This is just the morning. I got to review a couple more cars today, and I am absolutely loving this thing. Seriously am. This is a car. This is a good Colorado car. Power out. Thank you, little skids. That's what I like. Just little angles out of corners. Yeah, look at that 3-to-2 gear ratio separation, and power down. Let's go. A little grippy. Man, this car, it's definitely not light. I don't know what it weighs, but it's got to be high 3s, low 4s. But it's agile. It has the variable steering ratio, so depending on speed it will change. Also, a few other neat tricks this car will do in terms of driver assistance is it will, you know, of course, do eye tracking, which like no one else can do. You can have a digital key, so your phone can be a key to the car, or you can have like a little key card like a Model 3. You When you're in Eco Pro, for example, or even just in normal driving, the car will adapt the transmission selection and the regen of the 48-volt system based off of driving situation. So if it detects that there's a car stopped in front of you, or you're approaching a junction, or there's corners in the navigation, it will adapt how the car drives. There's an adaptive drive mode down here as well that adapts everything in real time based off of driving scenario. And wow. Not a lot of engine braking in this particular car. I also noticed driving around normally, you do get a little bit of regen, so you can almost one pedal drive it a bit. You still need to use the physical brakes more than like an electric car. It feels like an electric car with regen on very low. And then when the battery fills up, that goes away, of course. But still kind of fun to just see the technology. What's impressive to me about this car is, you know, electric isn't going to work for everyone, so people still need to buy combustion cars. Firm believer in that. I love electric cars, don't get me wrong. You guys do too. I know we have a big EV audience. But if you're going to buy a combustion car, it's nice to know that the calibration's getting better, the efficiency is getting better, the performance is getting better, and overall the cars are just getting, yeah, so technically advanced that, you know, I'm not sure how these systems are going to hold up over time. You can't, for example, turn off auto start stop in this car. In sport mode it won't shut the engine off, but in normal drive operation it just always turns on and off. But the thing is, because you don't feel it or even hear it, it doesn't matter because it uses the pancake motor. Overall, yeah, very impressed here with the 4 Series GC and M440i trim. The xDrive system, definitely the way to go. Lets you have enough little angles before it reels you in, even with, you know, in Sprint or Sport Plus mode. The Sprint functionality, I don't know how long that's been in BMWs, but that's the first time I've ever found that feature. Let me know if you have it in yours. Overall, I am, yeah, pretty pleased here. Definitely feel like old school BMW back the days when I was working for the company, and yeah, they lost me for a little while, but I think they're getting me back.
Hey everybody, Gary here again with the M440i xDrive BMW. About to take it on an efficiency run. We're going to be going north on the highway about 59.5 miles in total, just to see what this car will do in real world driving experience. We're going to go ahead and fill everything up to the brim and make sure everything is all set and ready to go. Keep everything on automatic, put the car at 70 miles an hour and turn cruise control on, and I'll give you updates along the way. We're here at the pump getting full 91 premium gas. Let's see how much this car will take. All right, the car is clicked once. 1.8 gallons. We're gonna wait 30 seconds. All right, 10 more. Beautiful. I'm gonna fill it up again until it clicks. There we go. We are at 2.1 gallons of fuel. Okay, so before we hit the road, I wanted to make sure that we got our tire pressures, 36 in the front, 39 in the rear. Okay, so the car is in Eco Pro mode. We're gonna put the AC on auto and then head up the highway at 70 miles an hour, put it on cruise control, and confirm with GPS. Okay, so we are about to merge onto the highway, park it at 70 miles an hour, and run the test. The heads-up display is nice too. Nope. Let's bring that down. All right, we're gonna double check with our GPS. One thing we ought to mention, after double checking with our GPS, this car is 70 miles an hour, but reads 73. So do keep that in mind if this is a car you plan to own. All right, so we are at the Double Diamond interchange. I do like this thing a lot. There is no incoming traffic. And just like that, you're on the on-ramp home. I have a feeling that was all super blurry, but you know. Alrighty. And thanks to the heads-up display here, I can park it at 70 as soon as it gets there. You're okay around. 3, and boom. Okay, so we're back on the highway heading southbound this time. Again, do keep in mind there is a west to east crosswind here in Wyoming, not so much down in Colorado, so keep that in mind. It is more of a real world test though as we do this. We're at 73 miles an hour indicated, but double checked with our GPS, this is 70. Okay, so here we are back at our exit. We're going to be pulling off, filling up again just to see how much the car had used in the 59.5 miles round trip. Okay, so we are back, premium gas. See how much this car had used in the last 59.5 miles. We're gonna go until it clicks, wait 30 seconds, and then go again. And there we go. There you have it. 1.564 gallons. All right, in conclusion, the car is reporting 37.4 MPG. Thank you for joining us for the efficiency portion of the M440i xDrive. I think the test was pretty interesting. The EPA rates this car about 22 MPG city, 29 highway, 25 combined MPG. The testing we did, about 59.5 miles, the car used 1.564 gallons of premium fuel. The math works out to be about 38 miles per gallon. So in the best circumstances, which we kind of had today, other than that, you know, that crosswind up into Wyoming, it was really nice. You know, weather was cool. It was nice and flat, and not too much wind, nothing too crazy. The car did spectacularly well. I really do love, I keep getting distracted, but I really do love the color of the example that we have here. So again, thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to doing more of these for you guys in the future.
Thanks so much for watching another Out of Spec Reviews video. Yes, I can't wait to drive the electric i4. I will do so as soon as possible, and I'll see y'all on the next video. Bye-bye.